Hello, everybody.
I'm Brian Penny of Brewster, Massachusetts. You're tuned to the International Radio Report. 30 minutes of news about radio with Sheldon and David on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal. My name's Sheldon. I am here with David and Jill, and we hope you are there with us. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How's everyone doing?
Pretty good. It's a really beautiful day out there.
It is wonderful today, and we are here, as we are every Sunday, and we are streaming live. Wave to the camera, everyone. There we are. We hope you are watching or listening or both.
They're telling us good morning.
They are. Very good. Yes, it is our second show of the annual CKUT funding drive, and David will tell you all about that funding drive right now.
That's right. Today happens to be the last day.
Yes.
And if you haven't contributed yet, it's not too late. You can phone in your pledge, mail in your pledge. I'll give you the phone number. It's 514-907-9424 for those who live in the local Montreal area. And if you live outside of the area and you'd like to contribute by mail, by check, by the old system of sending things, you can send it to 3647 University Street, Montreal, Quebec. Postal code is H3A2B3. And just put down attention funding drive on the envelope, and you can mail in your check or contribution. And any amount, some people think, I'm going to look bad if I, it doesn't matter, because we don't say how much people contributed. So whether it be $5, $500, $50, whatever you'd like to contribute, and there's a lot of nice prizes. If you go on the funding drive site, CKUT funding drive site, it's www.ckut.ca/donate. You can see the prizes, and if you give more than a certain amount, there's t-shirts and that. I'll even mail them out to you. If you live outside the area, you can ask to have them sent to you. There's CDs. There's going to be a draw on July 1st for some of the big prizes. There's a beer prize this year, which is always great for those who like beer.
How many donations I have to do?
To be in a big draw.
Jill's got his checkbook in.
I don't have the paper there. Nobody left the paper here in front of me, but I think if it's over $60, I think you're entered into the big draw. There's a lot of good prizes this year. There's books, there's records, there's CDs, there's services offered by different places that sponsor CKUT here. And it's important to meet our goal. Our goal this year is $50,000, and it's important to meet that goal. That helps the station operate. As anything in this world today, there's costs related to operating anything, and there's costs to operating the station. Even though we're located physically on the McGill campus, it's not a free ticket here. McGill doesn't pay everything here. The station has to cough up money for things, and all the people you hear on the shows are all volunteers. None of us are paid to come in here and do our shows. We're all volunteers, so you're not paying a salary to Sheldon, to Jill, and to I.
That said, some people are paid to work for CKUT.
Yes.
Yes,
So
there are.
it goes into the.
There's 4 or 5 people that are on the payroll here that are here 5 days a week, and
there's electricity, and that transmitter, it costs a lot of money. It's got to be maintained, repaired.
Antenna rental on the mountain. We pay for a space up there on the mountain for the antenna. There's costs related to operating the station. So any amount, it all adds up. So whether your donation is $5, $10, $50, $60, whatever you're comfortable with, and $5 today is not going to break your bank.
And I'll reach out to my viewers. If you don't want to do the donation necessarily directly on the CKUT for some reason, anybody that does a PayPal donation today all of that money is going to CKUT.
Oh, that's great.
Well, thanks, Joe. That's very nice of that.
So if you guys want to give a little something, hey, I'm going to make a donation myself also. I wanted to give 60. I wanted to give 60. I'm going to tell you the amount personally. I'll give 60.
Is that a challenge, Jill, to your
Oh, it could be, if you want to.
Well, we always put challenges out every year, and we've done that again. We did it last week. We do thank the people who pledged last week. We don't have our list in front of us here right now, but we thank you. You know who you are, and we thank you for your support. A lot of regulars who we haven't heard from yet. Some people might get thrown off a little bit this year because we're doing it in the spring as opposed to the fall, so maybe it's just, they've lost track or whatever, it could be away, whatever, who knows. But you can do this any time of the year. The pledge button is always up there on the CKUT website, so, whenever you feel like doing it. We'd just like to concentrate it on this period of 2 weeks or 12 days or whatever it is for the funding drive.
And like you were saying last week, it's interesting because, it's difficult. Just try to imagine any radio station that would like or would actually want to have a show like the International Radio Report, for example.
It's not going to happen. It just, the stations talk about themselves, obviously, and commercial radio, it's all money driven and advertising and what have you. We have an international audience. The content of what we talk about is local and international. Plus, we are encouraging people to, spin the dial, go around, go on different cities, stations, go to different countries, listen to things on shortwave radio. We don't want you sitting listening to one radio station, whereas that's the mentality of commercial radio is we want you here as our listener. We don't want you going anywhere else.
Listen to us and to us only.
Yeah, so putting a show like this on the air somewhere in a commercial environment is just not going to happen. So there's many shows like that. We serve a lot of specialty communities in Montreal. Voices to the voiceless is what we provide to people. To be able to get on the air and get their programming across to people. So that's what's really important. It's important to keep radio stations like this going. There are campus and community radio stations around the world that are in difficulty. Some have even closed down. They are hoping, we're not like that station KEXP out in Seattle, where the Microsoft owner donated $1 million during a pledge to their funding drive because he happened to like the radio station. We're not looking for $1 million. We're looking for $1, $5, $10, whatever. It all adds up. So if you really appreciate what we do here, remember that we're here 52 weeks a year. We give you half an hour of live programming on a subject that you don't hear on commercial radio. We put a lot of work into putting the show together and getting it on the air for you for now going on 32 years in November that this program has been here on the radio station. So
if you donate $5, that's not even 10 cents a show.
There you go. 514-907-9424 is the phone number to call if you want to make a pledge on the phone, or you can just go online, go to ckut.ca, and they will immediately drag you over to the funding drive page when you go in. It's now the home page for the funding drive.
Help us meet the goal.
Today is the last day officially of the funding drive, but it will carry on. So we do appreciate your input there, and if you like what you hear on the radio and you want to support it, and we put the challenges out. As I said, we challenge all of the members of the ham community out there around the world, members of radio clubs like CIDX and NASWA and the National Radio Club, and there's tons of different radio clubs around the world. The European DX Council has a whole group of clubs over in Europe. Radio clubs like ours exist all over the world. Gilles, you have tens of thousands of subscribers.
60,000 subscribers, millions of views.
Yeah.
There are people everywhere that enjoy the hobby, they enjoy radio.
Yep.
And we're here, I think about shows sometimes, like Grindhouser's World of Radio that's been running for so long. And there's shows like this that we are, and there's a fan base, and it takes time, and you got to get out. I'm the guy that probably has the most difficulty with that on Sunday mornings. I'm the guy that waking up is probably the challenge of a Sunday morning.
Right.
And we take the time and we want to participate. Sheldon's been there forever.
The 30 years of radio they're talking about, Sheldon.
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty much.
We took a break for a little while. There were 6 or 7 years when Steve and Janice took over the program, and Janice still pops in every once in a while. But the show itself came on the air when CKUT came on the air, so we've been here since the beginning. I think there's only one other show at CKUT. I think Positive Vibes has been here. They started when we started, so they've been going right through since day one. But that's a pretty unique record in itself.
Yeah.
So the amount of information that you've received basically for free over all those 32 years. There's only one time a year that we do ask for a little bit of support financially, and that's the CKUT funding drive.
So
So
look at all the work, and I remember when I started coming here regularly and seeing all the work that you put and all the news items and stuff. And I wanted to participate also, so I wanted to have something to say
right.
and to bring to the show. I didn't want to be just sitting here and commenting or whatever. And I mean, it's often overlooked. People watch the show, people listen to the show, and they just don't see that there's a lot of work behind it.
Well, we've had a lot of people over the years say to us, oh, you guys should do an hour a week. Why are you only doing half an hour? Well, to put a half hour of stuff together, if you've never done it, you don't realize how much research there is, how much, you have to go out and find the material. Some weeks it's tough. There's maybe, you could easily do an hour some weeks, but if you tried an hour every week, there'd be some weeks where you'd be sitting, kind of talking to each other because you wouldn't have enough to do to put onto the show. But, we dig through a lot of resources. There's a lot of information out there, but you gotta track it all down and put it into a format where you can squeeze it into the half hour. So doing it as long as we have, it's just habit now. It's human nature to go ahead and do it. But you could turn on the radio one week though, and there could be dead air here, and the sound of dead air might be soothing for a little while. But after a while, you're going to stop listening, obviously, and that's what can happen if radio stations like CKUT don't get the financial support that we need to keep the station going. So again, 514-907-9424 is the phone number to call to make a pledge of any amount, and go to the CKUT website, ckut.ca/donate. Just go to ckut.ca and it will take you there. We want to challenge our Facebook members out there as well. We have 441 people on Facebook who have taken the time to join that page. They read the stories that get posted up there. Sometimes you post your own stories up there. We've given you another outlet to access us and access people. We challenge those people out there as well if you like what we do to chip in with a bit of support as well. We want to get a bit of news into today's show, though, and again, we say hello to everybody out there watching us on YouTube. You can see that this is not a big fancy studio. It's pretty much the bare bones basic stuff, and keeping all this equipment going costs a fair chunk of money as well. We always like to tell you what's going on in the radio industry, and we do give you a lot of Canadian news. Well, I just saw yesterday that the Canadian Radio Music Award nominees have been announced for the year here for radio. Mainly commercial radio, but some community campus radio stations as well. There are so many different categories and so many people nominated in categories: Music Director of the Year, On-Air Talent, Program Director, Promotion of the Year, Station of the Year, Adult Contemporary Station, Hit Radio, Station of the Year, Classic Gold Station, Country Station, Multicultural Station, News Talk Sports, Rock Station, all of those different categories, and guess what? Only 4 nominations in all of those categories for anything on radio in Montreal.
Okay.
Are we surprised?
I'm not overly surprised. We talk about what a sad state, particularly commercial radio is in Montreal. It is just so generic, so non-creative. So the 4 nominees in any of these categories in Montreal here: Program Director of the Year, Paul Awad, who works at The Beats, the 92.5, which is a very popular station in Montreal, so they're recognizing what he's done for that station. They're also nominated as the Adult Contemporary Station of the Year. The only other 2 nominees for Montreal, one is a multicultural community radio station, Radio Centreville 102.3 in Montreal. nominated as Multicultural Station of the Year, and News Talk Sports category Station of the Year nominee CJD in Montreal. Now, what I noticed on this list is that there are no French stations. So I don't know if there is a separate set of awards for Francophone radio and music, but there were no nominees from the French side anywhere in Canada. And there are not just French stations in Quebec.
No, there are some across Canada. Yeah.
Right. So anyways, congratulations to those 4 nominees, but it would be really nice to see, Toronto is loaded, Calgary, Vancouver, all the other cities, big and small markets have got nominations in all of these different categories. I was just really, in one way, surprised, and another way more disappointed that,
And who nominate? Who does the nominations? It's the listeners themselves that.
I think it's a combination of things. I think it's through industry voting as well, kind of like the Grammys and stuff, where members of the association nominate things as well. We see these awards every year. I forget when the awards will be given later in the year, but I always look through the nominees just to see who's on there. And again, only seeing 4 out of. I'll put the link to all of the awards, and you'll see how many categories there are. And there's multiple nominees in each category, and to only see 4 for Montreal kind of is an indication of the quality of radio, I think, here in Montreal, that it's just not being recognized. Maybe there is something good out there that we're missing, I don't know. But, these are supposedly people in the know of what's going on out there. And to see.
Listen,
yeah.
I got that little radio for the subcarrier.
Yeah.
So it made me listen to the FM band quite a lot this week.
Okay.
And it was something that I never do. But you go through the FM band over and over, and there's nothing that actually makes me stop somewhere and decide, oh, I don't know about this, and it sounds interesting.
Yeah. I think, we hear that from a lot of people. We go to Winterfest and people are talking, you're talking international radio mostly, but people do eventually get onto the topic of what they have in their own cities and towns and what have you. Whether it's big conglomerates that own most of the radio stations in North America, in Canada, we don't have a couple big companies. In the States, it's the same thing. But there are these little small mom and pop community radio stations out there that are doing great work for their communities, and maybe they don't get recognized. One thing these awards do offer in Canada is they look at small, medium, and large markets, and there's different categories for each one. So, the little small town somewhere, Swift Current out there in Canada, is not competing against Montreal and Vancouver and Toronto. They have a separate category. So, but anyways, I'll put up the link to these awards. You can take a look at them and see what's going on. 514-907-9424 is our pledge drive number to call in for the funding drive, and go to ckut.ca to make a pledge there as well. We'll get you up to date on some things going on weather-wise, and there looks like a nice week coming up, and there's some activity on the sun as well.
Yes, there is. Okay. Finally, we're getting nice-looking weather, so hopefully it stays. Montreal area weather for today, Sunday, funding drive, May 5th, 2019. There's currently a mix of sun and cloud, but I would say it's more sun than cloud. Temperatures at 11 degrees Celsius or 53 Fahrenheit, humidity 62%. The wind is east at 7 kilometers per hour or 4 miles per hour. And for today, it'll be sunny, high of 19, a UV index of 7 or high. Tonight, clear and a low of 9. Monday, mainly sunny, a high of 20. UV index will be at 7 or high. Monday night, cloudy with a 60% chance of showers and a low of 9. Nice not to say minus anymore.
Yeah.
Today's weather extremes, the hottest is Sennar, Sudan at plus 47 degrees Celsius or 116.6 degrees Fahrenheit. And the coldest is Vostok, Antarctica at minus 70.7 degrees Celsius or minus 95.2 Fahrenheit. As you were saying, Sheldon, there is activity on the sun. There has been, and a big part of it happened yesterday. Returning sunspot AR2740 erupted during the late hours of yesterday, Saturday, May 4th, producing a C2 class solar flare at 22:43 UTC. Extreme ultraviolet radiation briefly ionized the top of Earth's dayside atmosphere, producing a brownout of shortwave signals over the Pacific Ocean. Frequencies affected were mainly in the below the 10 megahertz range. This is the second pass across the sun for this particular sunspot, previously numbered AR 2738 on its first pass. Current sunspot numbers are at 12, up from 0 last week. The solar flux index is 72, the A index is 10, and the current planetary K index is 0 or quiet.
This is Janice for that. The National Radio Report presents 30 minutes of news, information, and commentary on developments in the world of radio every Sunday morning at 10:30 on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal and online at ckut.ca.
All right, there is a voice from CKUT's history. There's Janice on there, and she is usually in here at least once a year with us during the CIDX barbecue weekend, so we will probably be seeing her again for that coming up in August. All right, I did want to mention we are streaming on
Yes.
YouTube this morning, and Gilles has the official SWL channel where you can find him every Friday at 2000 UTC doing a live shortwave show, and every second Saturday as well. And so we invite you to go and join him on that program each week. Lots of people checking in from all over the world. I keep seeing things flashing up on the screen there. Is that people
Yeah,
commenting?
there's a chat room, yeah, so
Oh,
there's
okay.
a chat going through.
Okay, so we say hello to everybody that's watching us wherever you are out there. And you will be able to go back and watch this
Absolutely.
archived as well.
Yeah.
And any of the other hundreds, maybe, how many videos do you have out there?
On the channel, I've got 3,000, last count was like 3,900.
Oh my goodness, and views?
Views is something like 5 or 6 million.
Oh my goodness, amazing, amazing. So if you want to find out about shortwave and the equipment reviews and samples of different things going on, you have recordings of some of the stations you've heard, lots of interesting stuff related to radio. Official SWL channel is where to go look. You can subscribe to it. You'll get notices every time there's a new program coming up, videos that are there. You can spend a long time there going through some of the different videos. So we thank Gilles for all the work, and that takes, talk about work, that takes
a lot.
a lot of time,
Yeah.
for sure. So check that out as well. So we do say hello to everybody watching us today. We won't be doing this every week.
No.
This is a special,
Special occasion, we might do it from time to time.
yeah, we do apologize last week for the little bit of technical issues we had here in the studio with the camera.
Actually, you know what, I'm pretty sure, because when I got home, it froze a little bit, then it came back to normal.
Okay,
And I noticed that it really was giving me an error message I've never seen before.
okay,
And I had the impression, I don't know if it's because we're close to the mountain, or could there be a little bit of RF inside here? I have the impression that the wire from the camera, the USB,
right.
the wire was picking up probably some signals.
Ah,
And it was interfering with the data that was going to the computer.
okay.
So it made the computer really slow on the camera feed.
Hmm.
So, and I think that's pretty much what happened.
Okay, well, looks like everything is working well today.
Yeah, well, with
so-
the phone, it works great, so
Yeah.
I think I'll stick with the phone for the next stuff I'll do.
Okay, well,
And it's portable.
we do appreciate you doing that for us and letting people see radio as opposed to just hearing it. And like we always say, we have faces for radio, and
Yeah.
seeing us on video, maybe you'll know why, but anyways.
You'll know why we're not on television.
Yeah, we do thank you for tuning in.
Like I say all the time, when somebody posts in the chat room, oh, I'm watching you on my 60-inch TV, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure, I want to see what it looks like.
Exactly. We do want to throw in one other story. Gilles, you passed this story along. It came via Ed on the SWLing post. And it's showing the importance of radio worldwide, particularly in areas of difficulty on the planet. The headline is "The Dream of Biafra Lives On in Underground Nigerian Radio Broadcasts." Every evening as 5 o'clock approaches, groups of men just off work go inside, shut their doors, and tune their radios to 102.1 FM. An anthem begins to play, a voice says Kidu, which maybe you can use on the channel, that must,
Oh, yeah,
hello,
let's have that one.
how are you? It's in the Igbo language, which is a local dialect in Nigeria, to welcome listeners to the daily broadcast of Radio Biafra. For the next 90 minutes, hosts and various guests proselytize for the revival of an old dream, the creation of an independent state called Biafra. The broadcast, conducted live from an undisclosed location in Nigeria, are illegal, and the group behind them, the Indigenous People of Biafra, or IPOD, have been classified by the government as a terrorist organization since 2017. Its leaders say they eschew violence and want a peaceful settlement of the issue through a national referendum. Activists say people caught listening to the station have been arrested or beaten. Many residents here say they are willing to take the risk. Radio Biafra is a daily reminder of the bloody civil war that ravaged Nigeria between 1967 and 1970. The main host of the program at the station is a man who goes by the name of Emma Powerful and dedicates much of his airtime to railing against the government and organizing protests such as a short-lived boycott of national elections this year. So here's an example of a station that is, striving to achieve something. They're taking the risk of doing something that is anti-government, anti-establishment, and taking that risk to get this message out and remind people of what happened in Nigeria back from 67 to 1970. And they're not letting the dream die. They're keeping that voice alive, using radio, in this case FM radio, to broadcast from an undisclosed location, and taking that risk to do it. So this is what goes on out there in radio. We have the luxury of coming into a quiet, calm radio station like CKUT and just putting our program out. But you see what some people are going through, to get important radio programming out to an audience.
Don't forget that free speech is something important.
Yeah.
Because when we just have the habit of saying pretty much everything we want, everything across our minds, we kind of lose a sense that this is something that it's not for everyone. There are so many places around the world that you can say what you think.
Yeah.
You can't voice your opinion because you'll disappear somewhere.
Exactly. So, that's a good lead into supporting radio stations like this. So there's Clara Swan waiting for people. For the people who have not watched us before, the Free Kick Music Show comes on after us and has been our neighbor for a very long time. Clara Swan and James is over in the corner over there. He's hiding from the camera, but you can come around as well, and there's James poking in. So we do invite you to stay tuned for them coming up after us each week here on CKUT. Our neighbors and our Latin neighbors before us. You saw well, you didn't see him, but you heard Sergio and his team. Today, Sergio was on his own, but we thank him for being our neighbor for so long as well. So supporting radio like CKUT is really important. You can do that by calling 514-907-9424 or going online to ckut.ca and making a pledge of support for us and for Clara Swan and for Sergio and for all of our programmers and programs here at CKUT. We really do appreciate it, and it's extremely important for us here at CKUT. All right.
And like you were saying earlier, there's a lot of work that goes into putting shows together, like the spoken word shows, the music shows. It's not just the time that you see us here or hear us at the station here.
Right.
It's the amount of time that people put in at their own place, at home, off-site here, and putting their shows together.
All right, so we do appreciate the input. We'll be back to normal programming again next week. Funding drive wraps up today, so if you want to get your pledges in. And when you call, you can tag your pledge for a particular show. If you're calling in, you want to specifically indicate that you're supporting a particular show. Let them know that. They will tag it for our show or for whatever show. You could make more than one pledge for different shows.
Yes.
If you like to do that, that's certainly welcome as well.
Go around the schedule and get a little something everywhere.
That's it. Spread the wealth. Spread the wealth, exactly. All right, 514-907-9424. Go to the ckut.ca website. You can go and check Jill's YouTube channel, and his supporters there can help out as well by channeling it through Jill. And
Don't forget, guys, I'm giving $60.
There you go.
Anything in my PayPal that comes from you guys is coming to CKUT.
There you go.
The challenge is there.
All right. That's going to do it for us today. Thank you for your support. We'll talk to you again next Sunday. Stay tuned for Free Kick with Clara Swan and James coming up next on CKUT. You've been listening to the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Why not?
Bye, everybody.
Hey, hope you enjoyed, guys. Take care. See you next Friday for the next stream at 2000 UT on Friday.